Mr. President, March is Women's History Month. So this morning, I'd like to highlight progress women have made in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM fields, challenges that persist, and legislation that I will be introducing to help overcome these challenges. Today, we rely on computers for much of our modern life. For that, we thank pioneer Rear Admiral Grace Hopper, who was one of the first computer programmers. Space travel is one of the most technologically challenging endeavors that humankind has undertaken. The road to becoming an astronaut requires intelligence and toughness, not to mention fortitude. Astronauts like Sally Ride, the first American woman in space, have shown that women belong in every endeavor. Hawaii is home to women leaders in STEM fields. Dr. Isabella Iona Abbott, who was raised in rural Hana on the island of Maui. She became the first Native Hawaiian woman to receive a PhD in science and went on to discover over 200 species of algae. She remains the leading expert on Pacific algae. These women persevered and rose to great heights and success in the STEM fields. However, we must do better to make sure that many more women have the opportunity to pursue STEM careers. While girls and boys express a similar level of interest in STEM at an early age, studies have shown that women start to lose interest in STEM as early as in middle school. This loss of women and minorities continues at nearly every stage of the STEM career trajectory. For example, women are more likely to switch from a STEM to non-STEM major in their first year of college than their male counterparts. Girls and women report many reasons for losing interest in STEM. These include negative stereotypes about women in STEM, perceived gender barriers, feelings of isolation, and a lack of female role models and mentors. Gender bias and institutional barriers still slow the advancement of girls and women. Research shows that issues of bias can hinder interest in STEM, influence academic performance, and influence whether faculty encourages female students to pursue STEM careers. Furthermore, bias, whether conscious or unconscious, can harm the hiring, promotion, and career advancement of women in STEM. Bias can even hurt female researchers' chances of winning competitive science grants. Approximately half of the U.S. population and workforce is made up of women, but women make up just over a quarter of the STEM workforce. As our economy becomes more global, our entire population, men and women, must be engaged in fields that will keep America competitive on the world stage. Expanding the number of women and minorities in STEM fields is essential to meeting that challenge. The importance of growing the U.S. STEM workforce is acknowledged by leaders and businesses in all fields at all levels. For example, this recognition was very evident in the Senate's immigration reform debate. When I served on the Senate Judiciary Committee in 2013, increasing our STEM workforce through immigration policy drove major sections of the bipartisan immigration reform bill passed by the Senate. In Hawaii and elsewhere, there are programs that expose students to STEM careers through mentoring and interactive activities such as robotics. I want to focus on one school in Hawaii that created these opportunities for their students, Molokai Middle School. This is a school that struggled with science and math scores, but when their teachers established a robotics programs, students from all backgrounds got interested in science. The year that the program started, the Molokai Middle School robotics team overcame all odds to represent Hawaii in a national robotics tournament. This year, they will compete in an international robotics competition in Kentucky. Molokai is an island of only about 7,000 people. Their students have thrived and succeeded through their STEM experience. While programs like these have a positive impact on encouraging students to stay excited about STEM fields, there are not enough of such programs. That's why today I'm proud to be joined by Senators Gillibrand, Murray, Feinstein, Heinrich, Baldwin, Stabenow, and Brown to introduce the Women and Minorities in STEM Booster Act to improve the recruitment, retention, and success of women and minorities in all stages of the STEM pipeline. This bill authorizes the National Science Foundation to award competitive grants for outreach, mentoring, and professional development programs. The STEM Booster Act also authorizes funding for STEM education outreach programs at the elementary and secondary school levels, funding for mentoring programs, and programs to increase the recruitment and retention of women and minority faculty. I'm also working on another bill to address some of the cultural and institutional barriers that I've mentioned today, which impede women's and minorities' advancement in STEM fields. In addition to increasing mentoring and outreach program, this second bill will improve guidance, training, and coordination among federal STEM agencies and universities to proactively combat bias and discrimination. We are on the right track to grow our STEM workforce in the United States, but we still need to move forward faster. We must act now to speed this process. My bill will help expose more girls, women, and minorities to opportunities in STEM fields and accelerate their participation. I urge my colleagues to join me in supporting women and minorities in STEM now. Mr. President, I yield the floor.